win a single race to save his life. And in the race, Kevin Magnussen was imitating the Wall of Berlin, or fucking Trump's wall.
We need to build a wall.
Some drivers clearly don't get along with each other, but some do. So let's take the time today and rank every single driver pairing based on skill level and including their whole friendship and how the team operates with both of them in it. Let me know your list down in the comments, and whilst you're there, you might as well just subscribe and like, I don't know why you wouldn't. Just go do it. And I hope you enjoyed the video. Just do it. Anyway, in 10th place, I've gone with the RB team, which you have Ricciardo and you have Yuki Tsunoda. And they're just not the best of friends or on the best terms at the moment, are they? In 2022, Daniel Ricciardo swarmed into the team after Yuki was just battering, absolutely shitting on Nick de Vries. Shit! And then Yuki Tsunoda, he kind of shits his pants because there's actually a good driver in the seat, and things started to go downhill. He wasn't performing as good as he was when Nick de Vries was in the seat, and Daniel Ricciardo scored some solid point finishes. And then in Bahrain, things really hit the boiling point, and Yuki Tsunoda was absolutely just calling out Daniel Ricciardo left, right, and center, and nearly crashed into him after the race. Just, you know what I'm saying? So I don't know what's up with those two. I don't know. They used to seem like they had a friendship when Daniel Ricciardo absolutely yeeted Yuki Tsunoda into the ocean. Luckily, Yuki isn't the biggest of humans, and the whole ocean didn't explode. But they seemed like good buddies back then. I don't know what's changed, what's happened, but it doesn't look good at all. In P9, I've gone with Alpine. Now this, you know, they're both good drivers. Both race winners, both scored podiums last season. But you know, the thing is, right, I never see them working together in any race. Genuinely, they're just in their own bubble, literally everywhere. I don't see them together. It's like they're not cooperating together. They're just, as I said, in their own bubble, doing their own thing, trying to score as many points as they can for themselves. And let's not even talk about Japan 2023, when Gasly was really pissed on the radio. Like, really pissed. I don't know whether they just forget they have teammates, but they're good drivers, let's be real. But as together, they don't really thrive that well. In P8, I've gone with Sauber, or Steak, or Kick, whatever you want to call it, but I'm just going to call it Sauber because that's really what it is. And let's be real, Bottas, he was a good driver back in his heyday, and Zhou really never was. They have a good friendship off the track. They seem like they're best of buds. But on pace, on track, I'm sorry, but Zhou is literally nowhere. He never is. I mean, Bahrain, he finished P11, but that's, you know, let's call that a lucky performance. And Bottas, a 10-time race winner, spent 5 years with Lewis Hamilton. Surely he could have picked up like a thing or two from one of the greatest drivers of all time and, you know, used it to his advantage. But it seems like he hasn't, because it seems like Zhou and Bottas are pretty similar. Bottas is just kind of edging it. Bottas is just better than Zhou. Scratch all of that. Whoa.
What?
But it just seems like they're on pretty even playing fields, and Bottas surely should be doing a lot better, knowing that Zhou isn't that guy.
You're not that guy, pal. Trust me. You're not that guy.
In P7, I've gone with Williams, the driver lineup, with Alex Albon, the GOAT, the greatest driver of all time. And literally the opposite of a GOAT, sometimes even looking like Nikita Mazepin, or more often looking like Nikita Mazepin, we have Logan Sargent in the car. Now, their relationship off track is actually pretty good. Watching their podcast is sometimes cool, and I remember when they both tried some Asian food and Alex Albon was introducing it all to Sargent. It seemed like they were good friends, good buds. But now their on-track performance is something that really needs to be discussed. Alex Albon doing the most he can, finishing P11 in Jeddah, where really his car was atrocious. And Logan Sargent just doing Logan Sargent things. In all of his 24 races that he's had, he's only scored 1 point. Alex Albon has scored, like, what, 27? This year is meant to be his redemption year to prove to the world that he's a good driver, because 2023 was a real disappointment. Like, it was disgusting. Disgusting! But it doesn't seem like he's showing anyone that he's a good driver. In P6, I've gone with Haas, and I generally think that P6 to P1, they're all pretty close in terms of, okay, maybe not P6, but P6, I've gone with Haas. And obviously the drivers in Haas are Magnussen and Hülkenberg, a driver in Magnussen who scored a podium on his debut. So surely he must be the better driver, knowing that Hülkenberg in all of his races has scored 0, and he's done a shit ton of races. But no, it's really the opposite way around. Kevin Magnussen is literally a nobody nowadays, and Hülkenberg is doing the best that he can. So I guess that's their only downfall, because, you know, back in the day, their off-track friendship was non-existent. But I don't know what happened in Jeddah. I don't know what Ao Komatsu's cooking, whether it's some fucking beef stew, some lasagna, I don't know what it was. But it was beautiful. It was tasty. It was like a Bevo rating food, and he was just saying, oh, delicious. You know what I'm trying to say?
7 out of 10, potatoes.
Anyway, in qualifying, they tried to go for slipstream, the only team who tried to do it, and it did work until Hulkenberg had some issues, so I guess none of that really meant anything. But if that did work, then Hulkenberg does his lap, right? Finishes the lap, and then whilst he's finishing the lap, he can help Magnussen get a good slipstream, so both of the teams, or both of the drivers, would have benefited. And in the race, Kevin Magnussen was imitating the Wall of Berlin, or fucking Trump's wall.
We need to build a wall.
My guy was literally there, brick by brick, laying it himself, creating a blockage. No one could get past him. And that meant that through all of his help, Hulkenberg managed to score a point, and that puts them, what, P6 in the Constructors? I mean, they're not going to hold on to that. But for now, P6. So I think, it's a good team pairing, except for Magnussen's skill is not there. In P5, I've gone with Aston Martin, and this is all pretty similar to Haas. Their off-track friendship seems to be pretty good. That Lance Stroll wholesome moment when he goes up to Alonso in Bahrain and says, happy you're not in an Alpine, that was fucking comedic and jokes. Their off-track relationship seems good. Is it faked because Alonso has to like Stroll because Stroll is the son of the boss of the team? Maybe, potentially, but that really doesn't matter, let's be real. Their on-track synergy is pretty good. When Alonso is clearly, obviously, faster than Lance Stroll, you know, the team tells Lance to let him by. He usually lets him by, it's all hippity-happity. But same with Haas. Alonso is a fucking beast, scored so many podiums last year, in a car that I guess really shouldn't have. And Lance Stroll couldn't even manage a single one. Lance Stroll anchoring a team down like you're fishing in the middle of the ocean. It's just, Lance is holding them back. In P4, I've gone with Red Bull, obviously Verstappen being on one side of the garage and Checo Perez on the other. And their off-track relationship, it seems very fake. I don't think at all Verstappen likes Perez in any sense whatsoever. But I guess on track, there's really little occasions where Perez is faster than Verstappen, so Verstappen never has to let Perez pass. Perez, I guess, will always let Verstappen pass. Perez literally helped Verstappen win the whole 2021 championship, so I guess they had some pretty good team relations back then. But over like the last half a year or so, it's just been in the drain. Red Bull can't be winning any more than they already are, so we really can't complain about Perez because he's not really holding the team back now, is he? But he is holding himself back. That seat in the Red Bull could be filled by a better driver, could give us a more entertaining championship. That's not gonna happen, is it? So I've gone with Red Bull in P4 because, let's be real, they're both decent drivers, or one's decent and one's just fucking insane. But there's still, you know, some tension in the team with Helmut Marko, with Christian Horner. You know, they've all been doing some lucrative things in recent times. In P3, I've gone with Mercedes. Now, genuinely, they have probably one of the best, or they do have one of the best lineups of drivers, that being Sir Lewis Hamilton, remember that, and George Russell, both good drivers, and on their day could be the fastest on the grid. But the thing is, Lewis Hamilton has slowly been slipping down the order, using a walking stick now to get out of the car and just walk around the paddock. He's getting very old. Born in the same year as Morgan Freeman, so I guess you can't really expect anything more from him. Their off-track friendship actually seemed pretty good, but the second they get on track is when they both turn competitive, and George doesn't want to lose to Lewis Hamilton. He wants to prove to everyone, guys, I am better than Lewis Hamilton, but we all know he really isn't. He started off 2022 very well, Mr. Consistency he was, wasn't he? But then that just somehow all managed to disappear. They've had, like, genuinely so many little incidents, clashes, where it really shouldn't have happened, should it? Qatar comes to mind, Japan comes to mind. None of that really should have happened. And I guess it's a bit shaky because, you know, that's happening. Maybe that's why Lewis Hamilton's deciding to leave, because he's had enough, and he wants out. But as drivers, let's be real, they're both phenomenal drivers, but there's still, you know, some tension. In P2, I've gone with Ferrari, Carlos Sainz and Charles Leclerc. Both amazing drivers as per usual because, you know, at the fucking top of the list, so of course they're all going to be amazing drivers. But that said, the whole grid, let's be real, is pretty amazing knowing that they're the top 20 best drivers in the world. Probably not the top 20 because you got Sargent on the grid, you got Lance on the grid, but you get the gist of things. Anyway, both phenomenal drivers, but I think there's just one little downfall of of their pairing. And that's on track, sometimes squabbling because Sainz thinks he's better than Leclerc, but he really isn't. You know, like in Silverstone 2022, like I don't know what they were doing, but that just seems like a whole big kerfuffle. Now that was a long time ago, but you know, still there's still some slight tension on track. Off track there, it's fine. They're great friends. But I guess that's literally the only thing I could think of. They're pretty much perfect. And Fred Vasseur does a very, very good job at maintaining their friendship and maintaining everything going on in the team. So we can all respect that. And in P1, no surprise, I've gone with McLaren. Lando, a great driver, but you can't win a single race to save his life. And Oscar Piastri won a race before Lando Norris, and that's a statement. But last year, there was literally nothing wrong with any of them. Like, nothing. Great friends on track, and they seem to gel well on track, not getting in anyone's way, not crashing each other. It was all nice. Like, that's all I think I'm gonna say. That's all pretty well and just well summed up. Every team should aspire to be like McLaren, but there's still a clear 1-2, Lando obviously being first. But let's see if Piastri can close the gap this year. Maybe he can. He scored more points in Jeddah, but that's one race. Can he do it over the season? Anyway, hope you enjoyed the video. If you did, as I said, subscribe and like. Put your thing down in the comments. If you want to complain about something, then do it. But I don't give two flying shits. Anyway, as I said, hope you enjoyed, and peace.